What's going on, baseball fans? How you doing? We have an update on the lockout. It looks like Major League Baseball, they're looking to bring in a third party to try and bring these sides together. We're going to get into it tonight, and we're going to do a little bit of Q&A. So let's get to it. And what is going on, baseball fans? Hello. Right around 50 people in the chat to start things off. I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces. I'm seeing some members in the chat. Hello. I'm seeing Adam, Daniel, Jack, down the line 89. What is going on? Jacob, hello. I got a couple of moderators here as well. Zachary, Orioles, what's going on? Jack, hello. Jeremiah, what's going on? Everyone, how are we doing? King Yellowman, what is going on? Chris Gowell Jr., another member. Thank you for coming by. Cody, Jacob, hello. Everyone, we got a bit of an update on the lockout. Kind of wasn't expecting this one. We're going to dive into that tonight. And we're going to do our Thursday night Q&A. So I'll fire up the question machine, and hopefully the answer machine will be just as good. So if you have any questions, hang on tight until we get done talking about this lockout stuff. But Alvaro, what's going on? Sophia, hello. Jason, what's going on? How are we doing? Alrighty, but before I do get started, if anyone is new, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 20K by opening day. We're very close to 17,000. So everyone, any new people here in the chat, hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button, everyone. That's really going to help this get out there into the algorithm. Hit the bell notification. Share any of the content. Let's get to it here. So, like I said, we have an update on the lockout. Major League Baseball, they are looking to bring in a third party. They're looking to bring in a federal mediator to try and help bring these two sides together. It was looking like there was, some little bits of progress here and there. One side dropping demands, one side being okay with, doing this, doing that. The money, though, is still pretty far apart on both sides. So there's a lot of distance between the two sides still. The framework is there, but it feels like just the money, the financial part of it, is very far apart. So let's get into this here. Alrighty, so taking a look, sharing the screen. Hold on one second here. Okay, there we go. So in the latest, Major League Baseball, they will not counter the MLBPA's latest offer, and they have requested a federal mediator to help resolve the lockout. So as of 4:10 this afternoon, the league will not be making a counter, according to Evan Drellich. The union made their offer on Tuesday, and Major League Baseball was expected to make a response, though this will now apparently not be the case. Between this lack of a counter offer, no new meetings scheduled between the two sides, and now the league's request for a federal mediator. It is unclear when the next set of negotiations may take place. So it's not guaranteed that the Players Association are going to agree to this. For there to be a mediator, the Players Association, they have to agree to it. So let me actually pull up just to give you a refresh. Hold on one second. Let me actually. Are we still here? Hello? Oh, what just my whole thing just completely. Whoa, what the heck just happened here? Are we still here? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if we're still here. My whole Streamlabs just basically reset. Whoa. What is going on right now? Are we still here? Whoa. What the heck is going on right now? My Streamlabs is completely freaking out on me right now. Whoa, I can't believe we're still live. Okay, all right, we're good to go, everyone. I think we're still good. Oh, my goodness. Everything just locked up completely on my computer, and everything just froze. All right, cool. I'm glad we're all still here. Did anyone leave? All right, cool. Yeah, we didn't lose anyone. So I thought my whole computer just shut down. Good grief. Have you noticed the whole screen went black for a second? My screen went black on me. Good grief. Hold on, everyone. Let me get this reset up here. Let me get this set up again. All right. Okay, I think we're good to go. All right. Sorry about that. Back to what we were talking about. So Major League Baseball, their latest offer, they are willing to do a bonus pool. That is what the Players Association wants to do. So that is a good thing that both sides are okay with having this bonus pool for top pre-arbitration players. However, the difference is Major League Baseball, they're only willing to give $10 million, while the Players Association, they want $100 million. So they're $90 million apart as of right now. That's a big difference. Major League Baseball, they're offering a minimum salary of $615,000, a 14-team postseason, and a draft lottery for the top 3 picks. As for the Players Association, like I said, they also want a bonus pool for the top pre-arbitration players. Again, guys like Corbin Burns, Jonathan India, they both won awards last year, and they're both within their first 2 years. So the Players Association feel that they should be getting paid and compensated more, especially when they are some of the top players in the league. Corbin Burns is a perfect example. This is a guy where within this system, if you were to have a bonus pool, Corbin Burns could have made anywhere from 200 to 300% more of his salary. As for the minimum salary, the players are requesting $775,000. They also want less revenue for these small market teams. So what I mean by that is all teams get revenue sharing. So for these small market teams like the Pirates are a perfect example. They're still getting all this revenue sharing, but they're not. And supposedly the owners, they like to say, oh, we're putting it back into, the product on the field. Well, it may not be as clear cut as it may be. The Players Association, they want these owners of these small market teams to get less money because they feel like they are not actively trying to improve their on the field product. So that's a big one for the players as well. The players also want a higher luxury tax line, $245 million. That's going to give these franchises more flexibility to go after these free agents. And a lot of the times, these franchises, they don't want to sign a lot of guys sometimes because they don't want to go over that luxury tax line. So that's a big thing that the players want as well. The players are okay with a 12-team postseason and a draft lottery for the top 7 picks as long as they are non-playoff teams. So getting back to this now. So let's get back to the article here. So again, people out there, they are oh my goodness, my whole screen just froze up again. I am so sorry, everyone. Hold on 1 second here. What in the world is going on right now? Hold on 1 second. I think I know what the problem. I know what the problem is. So I have this thing called a Stream Deck that it basically controls the program that I use, and I have 2 different settings on it. I just figured out what I was doing wrong. So I have a recording setting on it and a live setting. So whenever I'm just recording a video, I have different buttons set up for that. And when I have it on live, I have different buttons set up for that. So I was still on the recording mode because I recorded a video earlier. So just figured out what the heck I was doing wrong. Okay, we're good to go here. All right, here we go. Cool. All right, we should not have that problem anymore. Let's go. Here we go. So I don't know what the heck is going on right now. All right, I don't know. I'm just going to have to stop using the Stream Deck. Okay, whatever. I'm just going to be clicking from now on. I'm not using the Stream Deck tonight. Here we go. I'm so sorry, everyone. Technical difficulties tonight. My potato brain is not helping out either. Here we go. So again, they want federal mediation. Major League Baseball, they want a third party to step in. This is not the first time in sports that this has happened. In the NFL lockout in 2011, as well as the NBA lockout, they had federal mediation step in to help bring the two sides together, as well as the NHL lockout in 2012 to 2013. In Major League Baseball, they also did have a federal mediator come in the 1994 strike season. It didn't really help speed up anything at the time, but in the end, they were able to come together. So there is one thing, MLB Trade Rumors, they did a good job with this article, always doing a great job. They actually wrote here, so in the absolute best case scenario that a mediator's involvement would suddenly jumpstart talks, it would likely be some time before a new CBA is finalized. So when the NFL and the NHL, or the NBA and the NHL got a federal mediator to come in, it still took around 4 to 5 weeks. So that is one thing to take note of. My prediction as of right now, I'm hoping they can get this done by the beginning of March. I think if you can get this done by March, hopefully mid-March, I think that could really help. But again, the Players Association, they have to agree to it. It's not like there's going to be a mediator at this point. As of right now, it's just been requested. The Players Association, they have to agree to it. So it's not set in stone yet. I'm going to say, for right now, I think there's a few things that could be going into this. When it comes to Major League Baseball asking for a federal mediator, I think there could be a few things that you could consider. What is the main motivation behind this? There's always going to be people on Twitter land that are, coming up with, scenarios for this. I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitter saying, oh, Major League Baseball, the owners, they're just trying to make this, trying to make the players look bad and blah, blah, blah. Listen, that's not the case. Okay. We got to kind of calm down with that. Listen, I'm a very big supporter of the players. Okay. As a teacher, like I've seen negotiations between the teachers union as well as the county that I work for. Trust me, there's a lot of things where I'm thinking, hey, I think this is going to be fair for us teachers to be compensated for. But then there's a lot of times where these teacher unions, they're just asking for they have kind of some ridiculous requests sometimes. So when it comes to me, personally, I'm always someone that's right down the middle. I'm going to be honest here. I'm not going to give, I see a lot of people, they love to side with the players. To me personally, I'm not going all in with with players. I'm going right down the middle. Yeah, sure. These owners, they're bringing in tons of money. I understand that. But at the end of the day, you got to remember with Major League Baseball and any business at that point, the wheels are going to keep on turning. As owners of Major League Baseball franchises, yes, I understand they're billionaires, they're bringing in tons of money, but they're looking out not just for today, they're looking out for, the next 10 years, they're looking out for the next 20 years. They're looking, what can they do to help their franchise run for years and years and years? And I understand, yes, but the players also, they're looking out for themselves as well. They're looking out not just for themselves today, but they're looking out for themselves in the future. And Major League Baseball and the Players Association right now, the players, it seems like they are really not backing down when it comes to their requests. So I'm going to be honest. Listen, I think I'm going to be honest. When I'm looking at this bonus pool for pre-arbitration players, again, I would need to have some numbers in front of me. At the end of the day, though, $100 million for a bonus pool for pre-arbitration players, like Corbin Burns, if he was included, if they had a bonus pool this past year for those top pre-arbitration players, he would have made another, 1.5 million, maybe 2 million more. I mean, come on. Do you really need all of that, for these top guys? To me, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. I don't think, the top 20% or so of the top pre-arbitration players, there's not a lot of them that are going out there and winning Cy Youngs like Corbin Burns. I do think a lot of them should be compensated, but $100 million for a bonus pool? I'm sorry. I think on the surface, again, I would have to really look at some deeper numbers, but I don't have those in front of me, but to me, on the surface, that sounds like a lot. It sounds like it's almost just too much. And I think with the owners, but yeah, then again, the owners, they're at 10 million. I think that could definitely get upped as well. Again, I think they're just far apart. I think both sides, they're trying to show their backbones. Major League Baseball, they probably looked at the numbers and, they're probably being a little low on their offer. But then again, it's negotiations. Of course, it's not going to be 10 million. It's not going to end up being a $10 million bonus pool. Come on, they know that. But Major League Baseball, they're thinking, all right, we'll start off at 10. We'll probably end up maybe somewhere, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 million, something like that. But, the Players Association, they're going for 100 million. And then they started off with 105, and they lowered it by 5 million. Come on, what kind of progress is that? That's not really a lot of progress, if you ask me. So, again, I understand the players. I get it. They really are looking out for themselves, and they should. Absolutely, they should. But at the end of the day, come on, I think we gotta, you gotta be a little more realistic with some of this stuff too. Sure, yes, the players, they need to be compensated, but I think the owners, it's not like the owners were willing to do the bonus pool. So it's not, you can't really sit here and say, oh, the owners, they're not negotiating. There was this one tweet, Alex Wood, he tweeted out today saying, why are they asking for a federal mediator when they haven't even been negotiating? Oh, get out of here. Get out of here with that nonsense. To be honest with you, I haven't really seen anything from Major League Baseball be negative. I'm hearing more stuff from the players. Listen, you got to look at it from both sides, a little bit here. You can't, I'm sorry, but Alex Wood's, tweeting out today that, that the owners aren't negotiating. Oh, get out of here. Stop it. Stop it. The owners are absolutely, they are okay. They're okay with the bonus pool. They're willing to kind of match or, they have similar ideas, or they're willing to agree with the ideas on the Players Association. To me, for Alex Wood to say that, I don't know. That to me, it's just like, what are you talking about? Major League Baseball, they need to up their offers on some of this stuff, but the players, they need to come down on some of their offers too. And if the Players Association, it sounds like they're not willing to really negotiate as much as, the owners. If the owners are looking for a federal mediator, I don't know. Again, I'm not taking either side. I'm just looking at it from down the middle. I think both sides need to come closer together. I think the players, though, they got to kind of, again, I understand what they're doing here. They're trying to stay strong. I get it. But at the end of the day, you got to be a little more realistic. And a $100 million bonus pool for the top 20% of pre-arbitration players, and the Super 2 players, to me, that sounds a little much. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. But Eugene Friedman, if you need any good information on the lockout, Eugene Friedman is a good Twitter account to follow. He is someone that he works not in Major League Baseball labor negotiations, but he is familiar with working, with unions. He was a union, or I think he still is a union lawyer. So, and he's been really on top of these baseball labor relations. So this is what he said today. He came out with a big thread, and there's a lot of good information here. And he came up with a few scenarios where, what is the motivation behind this federal mediator? So let's take a read, shall we? Let's dive in. So FMCS, that is basically all the federal mediators in the government. But this is a high-profile case of a national contract. So I think Scott Beckenbaugh would likely be assigned if he's not already engaged. I haven't worked with him, but he has a terrific reputation. Mediation can be very helpful to move the parties toward and even to agreement if the parties are motivated and the right mediator is involved. I've worked with a few great ones and one who didn't help at all. A strong mediator can also be helpful to move your own obstinate side by having them hear from a neutral third party about what is fair and reasonable. It's possible Halem, I don't know what that is requesting mediation. Oh, Halem is for the Major League Baseball for the negotiations. It's possible he's requesting mediation to get his own side to stop playing with their food and start making real proposals that might lead to an agreement. So again, I'm not like on the owner's side. I'm not on the player's side. I'm right down the middle because at the end of the day, it takes two to tango. You can support whatever side you want, but I'm supporting both sides because I think obviously both sides need to come to an agreement. So they're both far apart. They're both in the wrong here is basically what I'm trying to say. But I agree with this. I think a mediator, he can come in and be like, hey, come on. You're offering $10 million for a bonus pool. I mean, come on, we need a little bit more than that, we got to, you got to be a little more generous with your offers here. The players, they're looking at this like it's a complete joke. 10 million, yeah, just as much as the players, they're asking for $100 million. The owner's offering $10 million is kind of a joke. I mean, come on, what is 10 million going to do? I mean, 10 million would do a lot for me. I mean, $10 would do a lot for me at this point. Good grief. But a mediator would be really good in that scenario where he can come in and be like, hey, owners, hey, can you step up your offer a little bit? I think if you maybe offer a little bit more, I think the players might like that. Going on here with Eugene Friedman's thread, that would be a very subtle and astute maneuver. I think I pronounced that right. One that is not exactly in MLB's normal playbook. It also could be a tactic to place some blame on the union if they don't accept mediation. It would seem premature. Mediation is usually engaged at a point when the parties are getting close to impasse or have reached what they believe to be impasse. So again, they are very far apart. So in a way, Major League Baseball, I don't think there's one sole, I'll talk about the other thing here in a second, but I don't think there's one sole motivation behind this. I think there's a few things, but I think there could be a little something in that. I don't think that's the main motivation behind it, to try and make the union look bad if they reject it. But I think they probably thought that. Be like, hey, we'll offer the mediation, and if worse comes to worse, if they reject it, the union is not going to look very good. So they probably looked at that as maybe like an icing on the cake kind of a thing. That's just what I think personally. Okay, cool. It said Mike Chat went down to 0, and I'm like, what the heck just happened to Mike Chat? All right, cool. We're good. We're having some technical difficulties tonight. I'm glad everyone is still sticking around. Moving on here. The party, or that's where was I? Oh, here we go. Hold on, where was I? It could also be a tactic to place blame on the union. Mediation is usually engaged at a point when the parties are getting close to impasse or have reached what they believe to be impasse. That's not the case here, not even close. The only thing that's clear is that the lockout did not produce the results that the commissioner claimed were the goals of the lockout. Speed up negotiations and move the parties toward resolution. Should the union accept mediation now at this early stage in the proposals so far from impasse? That's a tough question without knowing if there have been behind-the-scenes communications between the principals. If Halem is trying to move his side and there have been subtle mentions of that among the principals, then yes, the union should engage in mediation. If, however, they feel it's a PR stunt, then it makes little sense. A mediator won't move an immovable object. MLB has to want to reach agreement across the wide range of subjects in order to have effective negotiations or effective mediation. So I feel like it could be a bit of a PR thing, but I don't think that's the main thing. I don't know. To me, if I'm looking at, a multi-billion-dollar company like Major League Baseball, if you're just doing this as a PR stunt, that's just, to me, it's just so irresponsible. Like, I just don't see these guys doing something like that. At the end of the day, they want to be bringing in revenue. They want to be bringing in money for their franchises as a business. So I could maybe see it as like, all right, well, if they don't accept, well then, okay, well then they're not going to look very good. So I don't think that's the main motivation. That's just my personal opinion. That to me just sounds very irresponsible. I just don't see it. But hey, I think there's a lot of people out there that would think that sounds like Major League Baseball and, Rob Manfred. So I don't know. Me personally, I don't think so. But taking a look more at, he put a lot of stuff here. He gives really good information. Please go follow Eugene Friedman if you haven't already. So taking a look here. where were we? Only Meyer and maybe Clark know the true answer to that question, and it doesn't behoove them to tell their own team. When the type of subtle maneuvering is happening behind the scenes, the circle has to be very tight and only disclosed, if at all, after the fact. I hope I didn't tip their hand by explaining all these possibilities. In light of the lack of trust, this may be wishful thinking. There's also a more cynical possibility. That is that MLB is attempting to reach impasse so that it can unilaterally implement its last best offer. We've seen that game before, but then it comes down to whether or not it's premature impasse or a real impasse. See 1994. So 1994, obviously, that just did not go well for anyone involved. A mediator could give some credence to an argument that they are at impasse, albeit I assume the union's argument would be based on a surface bargaining argument. Should we see this cynical possibility come true, having Jennifer Abrazo as a confirmed NLRBGC definitely makes it more likely that they would seek an injunction. I mean, there's a lot of technical terms here. I don't know what the heck some of this stuff means. My potato brain doesn't have the IQ for this. Preventing unilateral implementation in the event the regional director found there to be bad faith, including a lack of impasse. It just seems that tactically that would be a terrible decision for Major League Baseball, but history tends to repeat itself. Some of us haven't forgotten, even these long 27 years after Judge Sotomayor's ruling in Silverman versus MLB. So there's a lot there from Eugene Friedman. If you want to go read it up again, go follow him on Twitter. But personally, I don't think a mediator would be a terrible thing if you can just get these sides to come a little bit closer together. At the end of the day, I think the owners have to start upping their offers a little bit. I think the players maybe have to show a little bit of wiggle room here. I understand they want to stay strong. They want to have a backbone. I get that. At the end of the day, though, you're going to have some kind of movement. So will a mediator happen? We're going to have to wait and see. Hopefully we'll have an answer to this, hopefully by tomorrow. So at the end of the day, I think both sides need to figure this out. I'm not going to put this on the owners. I'm not going to put this on the players. I'm going to put it on both. There needs to be some kind of a movement or some movement. And if a mediator is what it takes, a third party, to maybe just at least nudge them a little bit, I don't think that would be the worst thing. I think that could actually be very beneficial for both sides. So, but those are my thoughts on that. We have 90. Oh, we just got to 100 people in the chat. But everyone, let's go ahead and get started with the Q&A. There is actually some other news in Major League Actually, it's not Major League Baseball. It's Minor League Baseball. Today, in case you missed it, AAA Baseball, the season has been expanded to 150 games. So we got some more minor league baseball. They're going to be going from 144 games to 150. So not a big increase, but hey, 6 more games of minor league baseball. Why not? So yeah, but I think that could be very good, especially, with all this lockout stuff going on. But all right, everyone, let's go ahead. Let's get this Q&A going. We got 100 people in the chat. Fire up the questions, everyone. I will just let you know, I'm not doing this as a money grab, but if you want me to see a question that you have, a super chat will guarantee that. I'm not saying that because of the money, but because my eyes, I can't keep track of everyone in the chat. If you want a question to be guaranteed to be answered, if you do a super chat, it's going to pop up on the screen for me, so there's no way I'll miss it. But let's go here. Let's see. What do I got? First question here. Matthew Pohl, who is your dark horse playoff contender? I've been saying this a few times. I think the Arizona Diamondbacks. I think they could be a bit of a dark horse. I think the Cleveland Guardians are a bit of a dark horse. The Cleveland Guardians, they have some talent on that major league roster. They got some depth in that farm system. I think the Guardians could be a very big dark horse in the American League. And I think the Diamondbacks could be a dark horse in the National League. They got a lot of minor league depth. They got some really good talent at the top of that farm system as well. Madison Bumgarner, if he can get back to what he was with the Giants. Zach Gallen, if he can take a step forward like I feel like he can. I think the Diamondbacks could be a really good team. So, here we go. What do we got here? What do we got? Yes, Pee Wee Pierre. Yes, minor league baseball not affected by the lockout, but hey, maybe a little bit more of a season can help, with these guys' stat lines down in the minor leagues. So to get to the major leagues. Down the line, 89. Are you ready for MLB The Show 22? Yeah, I think so. I've been kind of lacking with the MLB The Show content on the channel like I wanted to do. A lot of the times it's because the rosters can, like, I don't know, they're outdated at this point, and the rosters, when you go to the vault and you download, the latest rosters or whatever that people make, a lot of them they can have errors and stuff, and I understand that. That's, I'm not gonna sit there and, people are taking their time in making these rosters, so it's not gonna be perfect every single time. But I would like MLB The Show 22 just because it's gonna be more updated and with the rosters and everything. So it would make me it would make my job a little easier trying to make some content there. So especially for rebuilds. But I will say that MLB The Show Ohtani cover, the MVP edition, oh my God, it looks awesome. MLB The Show 2022 MVP. I mean, look at this. This is awesome. I mean, good grief. I was never a big anime fan, when I was growing up. But I appreciate some anime. And I don't read any anime. But, we got a super chat. Super chat. Mets Nation. Hey, how about you predict the NL East? Mets Nation. Right now, if I were to pick a team, I'm sorry, I'm going with the Braves. I will say this. If the Marlins add another bat or two, I might go Marlins in that East. I'm sorry. I might. The Mets right now, I don't think they're deep enough to... Right now, I'm talking right now, I think the Mets need more depth to get through a long season. We saw it last year. Yes, adding Max Scherzer, that was a big deal. But you need some depth to make it through that long season. The Mets fell apart in the second half last year because they were really lacking in depth. So I think that's going to be a big thing. Honestly, the Marlins, I love their pitching depth. I think they could be a surprise team. That could be another dark horse team. But where was I with the... Oh, let me go to this. I wanted to show... Oh, Edmund 19. Oh, I just realized. Yankees trade for Matt Olson. Athletics get Dominguez, Schmidt, Torres. Ooh. Yankees get Olson and Trevino. Let me pull up that trade here in a second. Take a look at this Ohtani cover. The MVP edition. Look at that. Look at that. I like, the anime kind of look to it. I love it. I was seeing some people kind of complaining about it. Dude, I would love, if you had a game like that had these kind of graphics, I'd be all about it. To be honest with you, I was a huge backyard baseball fan. I didn't care what these graphics looked like. I mean, obviously they were like, little kids, but dude, the graphics, oh my God. If you had graphics that looked like this, oh, that'd be awesome. I'm sorry. I would love it. But I think this is a really cool cover. Very unique. I love that. Absolutely love that. But Edmund 19, let's get to your super chat here. Here we go. Let's get signed in to Baseball Trade Values. Here we go. Trade Simulator. Here we go. This is the best simulator for MLB trades on the market right now. Very accurate, a 95% acceptance rate when it comes to real life trades over the last few years. So this is a pretty common trade that we have between the Yankees and Matt Olson. Maybe not these exact players, but Matt Olson is a great fit for the Yankees if they were to go that route, because they could use a first baseman. But let's take a look at this trade. All right, so you have Dominguez. I'll be honest right off the bat. I wouldn't give up Dominguez. He's gotten off to a bit of a slow start in the minors, but I think you got to hang on to Dominguez at this point. Schmidt, I could see them parting with Schmidt. But I wonder if the A's would be, what's going on with him health-wise. He has a 6.8 value. I'm sure the values are going to match up here. Gleyber Torres. I wonder if they would want to do Gleyber Torres, because if we're looking at the payroll for the Yankees. The A's, I would imagine they're going to try and really load up on pre-arbitration players because those guys are going to be really cheap. If we're taking a look at Gleyber Torres, he's looking to make $5.9 million. So I don't know if the A's are going to want to do that. I mean, the A's were cutting payroll with Bob Melvin, trying to get rid of $2-3 million that they owed him. So I wonder if they're going to want to, take on someone like a Gleyber Torres, but we can take a look here. As of right now, we're probably looking pretty close. And then Waldchuk. Here we go. Let's type that in. And then you got 5.2. So, yeah, value-wise, this would match up. This matches up. If you take a look at Olsen has a 45.3. So, yeah, value-wise, it matches up on paper. In theory, I don't know if the Yankees would want to part with Dominguez at this point. Torres, they seem to be in love with Gleyber Torres. I just wonder, if they're would even think about trading him. At this point, that's a guy that you can keep at second base and you can hope his bat can turn around. Clark Schmidt, he's, had some stuff injury-wise in the last couple of years. I think overall, though, I don't see this exact trade happening. Value-wise, it matches up. In theory, though, I wonder if the Yankees would want to part with these players. So, I think Olsen with the Yankees is a really good fit. What I do like about this trade, personally, Edmund 19, is that you're not involving Oswald Peraza. I'm right now in the boat where the Yankees should hang on to Oswald Peraza. This guy has done very well in the minor leagues. He's a good defensive shortstop. He's going to give you speed. That's exactly what the Yankees need. They need defense and speed. Why would you get rid of Oswald Peraza? He is as close to major league ready as it gets. And I see the argument a lot that the Yankees should keep, they'll be okay with trading away Peraza because you have Anthony Volpe. But Anthony Volpe is far away. You don't know what this guy's going to be. Yes, he looked really good last year. You never know what could happen next year. This guy could fall off a cliff. I hope that doesn't happen, for his sake, but you never know with some of these minor leaguers. I think the Yankees, they should stick with Peraza. So that's what I actually do like about this trade. Frank Ryan with a $4.99 super chat. What is going on? How are we doing? Thoughts on the Sox prospects? Cassis is going to be the real deal at first the next 6 to 7 years, but man, does Nick York look unreal. Man, Frank Ryan, I love me some Red Sox prospects right now, man. I'm loving it. Here we go. Let's go to Baseball America. We've been doing a lot of Baseball America stuff lately. And if you missed last night's stream, we were here for about 3.5 hours last night looking at the latest organizational farm system rankings. So they just released their rankings yesterday. I went through every team. I think I spent around 10 to 15 minutes on each team taking a look at their top prospects. But hey, Baseball America, I think you have to sign up for a subscription to be able to look, at least to look at the whole thing. So, but if you missed it last night, go check it out. We spent a long time talking about it. But let's go to the Red Sox here. I tend to like Baseball America when it comes to farm systems. I feel like they're more in depth. I trust Baseball America a little bit more than MLB Pipeline. And I'll tell you, you mentioned Nick York, Frank Ryan. Before Nick York got drafted, Baseball America, they came out with an article before that draft of under-the-radar prospects or under-the-radar draft prospects, and Nick York was on that list. And I remember I was looking at that list. I talked about this last night. I was looking at that list, and I saw the name. I saw his name on that list, and I kind of read through his thing really quick. They talked about how he was a good hitter. He had simple mechanics. He was a hardworking player. I didn't really get too much into him. I was looking at some other players on that list, and then the Red Sox drafted him, and I'm like, oh wait, that's that guy that was on that list. So that's when I like Baseball America, because the fact that they had a guy like that on that kind of a list, I think that says a lot. But Nick York, man, he really is, I think, he's going to make a lot of people look kind of silly, because people are thinking, why the heck are the Red Sox drafting this guy in the first round? Like, they reached supposedly so far for him, and he looked amazing last year. Personally, I would not have Marcelo Mayer as the number one prospect. I think he has all the potential in the world, but right now my number one prospect is Triston Casas. I think when I look at Triston Casas, I think of a guy who already has the mentality of a major league player. Personally, I think he puts a lot of thought and a lot of care into his craft as a player. He really is a disciplined player at the plate already. He's just very aware of the strike zone already. I mean, look at the on base last year, a 394. He's okay with taking a walk. He just wants to have the best at bat possible. And then when he has that amount of power to go along, with that plate discipline, oh boy, this could be a middle of the order bat for the Red Sox for years to come. I think honestly, he is a very sure thing. I think he is as sure of a thing when it comes to Red Sox prospects lately. I'm really excited about Triston Casas. I want those home runs to kind of come up a smidge, just a smidge if we can. But I think Casas definitely, this is a guy, 30, 35 home run potential every single year. He can hit to all fields. I really like Triston Casas. But Nick York, look at the year Nick York had last year. 325, had over a 400 on base, over a 500 slugging, 14 home runs, 13 stolen bases. If he keeps going at this rate, I think this is your second baseman of the future. Jarren Duran's really exciting. I really do like Jarren Duran. I'm wondering what he ends up, where does he end up fitting with the Red Sox next year? Could he be trade bait? I wonder if the Red Sox would do that. I don't know. But this is a guy I think you hang on to, and I think he definitely has a spot with the Red Sox next year. Brayan Bello, I really think, is a bit underrated as a guy in this Red Sox organization. He had a lot of strikeouts last year in the minor leagues, 132 over 96. He's got a good fastball, good slider, a really good changeup. This is a guy I think you could see contribute in the Red Sox bullpen. I think he could be that next guy, kind of like how, Garrett Whitlock, how he just emerged last year. I think Brayan Bello could be another guy that emerges, but Jeter Downs, no pun intended, a down season last year. Hopefully he can pick it back up. There was still a little bit of power, some stolen bases, but Jeter Downs hoping for a bounce back season. Blaze Jordan, obviously, he got off to a good start and really he struggled when he moved up further, but really excited to see what Blaze Jordan can do. Oh, Pee Wee Pierre. We're talking about Blaze Jordan right now. Let's stick on Blaze Jordan. But yeah, Blaze Jordan, if we take a look, Blaze Jordan. We got 124 people in the chat right now. What is going on? How are we doing? But Blaze Jordan, I've actually done a video on Blaze Jordan. It's one of my most viewed videos of all time on this channel. But taking a look at the numbers with him last year, he was at rookie ball. He was lighting the world on fire there. He had a 362 batting average, 4 homers, 19 RBIs. And a 408 on base. And then he moved up to A-ball. Kind of, didn't do as well there. Only hit 250. Had a couple of home runs, though. The on-base was a little low. I think this is a guy, it's going to be a couple of years before you see Blaze Jordan. I think, 2-3 years. I think he's going to be a guy, he's going to figure out the pitching where he is. And it's going to take him some time to adjust when he gets to the next level. So I think Blaze Jordan is a bit of a, no pun intended here, a slow burn, a slow blaze, I think, is what's going to be Blaze Jordan. I think it's going to take him some time. So really excited about Blaze Jordan, though. The power is unreal. Taking a look here. What else do we got here? Let's pick another question here in the chat. Theo, have you ever played out of the park baseball? I have, Theo. I've actually done a couple of videos on here. If you go back into the last few weeks or so, I ran a simulation with the 1994 Montreal Expos. I wanted to see how far they would go. And I also put together a little tournament, and I put together the best teams of all time based off of their Fangraphs WAR. So I think you're going to laugh at what team ended up winning that tournament. So go check it out if you haven't. But yeah, I want to do more out of the park baseball. It's a great simulation game. Theo, thank you for the question. Mets Nation, what's going on? If the Mets trade McNeil, where does he fit? I think with McNeil, there's a lot of places he could go to. Let's take a look here. Let's go to Fangraphs. Let's go to, I would say right now, primary position, probably second base. But let's take a look. Second base. Blake Sturm with a 99-cent super chat. Blake, thank you so much, my friend. I really appreciate that. Taking a look at the second base rankings, I would say right now, I mean, I actually did see a very interesting trade proposal. Oh, by the way, on my channel today, on the community tab, I put a Blake Sturm, there's the 99-cent super chat. Thank you so much, my friend. If you go to the community tab on my channel, I posted I had a post there today for you to submit your trade proposals. I actually did see one trade there with the Mets, and I actually kind of liked it. But if you haven't been to that post, go to that post and submit a trade proposal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look through all of the proposals and I'm going to pick my favorite ones and I'm going to make a video about it. I think that could be, something I would love doing that, kind of like how Jim Bowden, the problem with Jim Bowden is he is completely hit or miss when it comes to trades. There's times where I think he sounds reasonable with what he thinks about a certain trade proposal. But then there's times where I'm like, Jim, what the heck are you talking about? What is going on, my friend? What are you doing? But I think I can have some fun with that. So go check out that post if you haven't. Go submit a trade proposal for me, and I'm going to pick a few out of the bunch and then make a video about it. And I'll review your trades. So, Blake Stern. You picked up during the free agency deadline. Love the content. Keep it coming. Hey, Blake, my friend, thank you for coming by. I really appreciate you. But let's get back to Mets Nation. If the Mets trade McNeil, where does he fit? Well, if we're taking a look, one spot, I wonder if, I don't know. I wonder if this is a possibility. If we're to take a look here, this is the trade I saw today on that list. And I'll show it some love. I don't remember the exact trade, but I kind of liked it. At least the main players that were involved. Could you do something like this? If you have John Means to the Mets, and then going back, you could do McNeil. And you have to give it more than McNeil, but this is where I wonder if this ends up working out, because you are a little far apart on these values. But I think could the Orioles maybe be somewhere you get, send McNeil and you can get some pitching. I think if you're the Mets, get some pitching if you're going to trade McNeil. Simply Fog with a $5 super chat. One of the best moments of last season was when D. Moore hit the clutch grand slam off Rayleigh. The Mariners announcers' energy, that crowd, incredible. Absolutely. The Mariners, full of amazing moments last year. That was honestly, you could say the 2021 Mariners were one of the most fun teams of all time. Are they one of the best teams of all time to not make the playoffs? I don't know if I would put them that high because they really relied on clutch offense. They really need some more consistent offense. Keep the clutch hitting coming. I love it. But I think they need some guys that are going to put together better at-bats day to day and more, guys like Chris Bryant. I think he just really fits. I really want Chris Bryant as a Seattle Mariner. I think it just makes a lot of sense. But the Mariners, though, very fun team last year. But let's get back to this right here. Could you have maybe a trade with John Means, Jeff McNeil, have Jeff McNeil go to the Orioles? If we're taking a look, the Orioles, they did sign Odor, so I'm wondering if that's really something. But at least with McNeil, he can go play some left field. He can play some third, something like that. Let me go to the Orioles really quick. The Orioles, taking a look here. So you got Kelvin Gutierrez at third right now. Could you bring in McNeil and you can have him play third? But again, when you're looking at the trade, you're a little far apart here. I don't know. If you're going to look, I don't know. Do you get rid of Mauricio? I don't see that. I think the Mets, they're going to want to hang on to their top prospects. I don't see them giving up any of the, I don't know. I feel like JT Ginn, that was a guy they knew he needed Tommy John. And, you know, I just think, and they still drafted him. I think they really like him. I would think these guys in the top 5, I think they hang on to these guys. I think Matt Allen, that's your top pitching prospect. You know, this is a guy that had Tommy John. You know, would a team even want Matt Allen? I don't know. But could you go with maybe some guys like Mark Vientos, Alex Ramirez, you know, maybe even Khalil Lee, who you just got, but he couldn't do anything in the major leagues. If you were to look at something here, could you do maybe Vientos and, I don't know, maybe do Ramirez? You know, and at this point, you might be maybe pretty close. I don't know. I feel like Vientos might be expendable because you do have Beatty. So, I don't know. That could be something maybe. I think you're on the right track with this kind of a trade, possibly. But I think John Means would be really nice for the New York Mets. That would be a lefty arm for their rotation. I think that could make some sense. I think more likely, probably the Mets at this point, I think they want to spend money. I don't think they want to be giving up prospects, because I think they're well aware that obviously they want to contend for a World Series, but I think they're very well aware that they need to keep adding more to that farm system. At this point, I think that's why they're so okay with wanting to spend money, because they don't want to give up prospects. So I think right now they're okay with building the team with cash, with money, but you know, not giving up free agents, or not giving up, prospects. So, Blake, let's see what you got here. Do you think Bryant to Philly is a possibility? That connection with Harper shouldn't be overlooked. I mean, absolutely, it's always possible. I think overall, for third base, I think you're going to have Alec Bohm as your third baseman. Dave Dombrowski, he pretty much sounds like he's confident with Alec Bohm at third base. I don't think that's going to change. You know, this is a guy a couple of years ago, 2020, he was in the running for Rookie of the Year, had a good season. You know, yeah, sure, he had a bit of a down year, but hey, you know what? I think Alec Bohm, stick with this guy. He is the third pick in the 2018 draft. You know, he's going to go through some growing pains. I think you stick with him there. Now, Chris Bryant, if you brought him in, could he play left field? Absolutely he could. His versatility would really fit. I think Chris Bryant to the Phillies, I don't think that's completely out of the question. I think his versatility really fits. As of right now, you got Matt Vierling in at DH, you know, so there's definitely that there could be a rotation there. I think the Phillies need a bat. I think they really need someone for the top of the order. I think an outfielder would make sense. Is Chris Bryant, let me go to Chris Bryant here. I think personally the Phillies, they need more of a top of the order kind of a guy. The Phillies did not rank very well when it came to the top of the order last year. I believe they were in the bottom 5 when it came to on base percentage with the first and the second spots in their lineup. So let me actually go to his splits for Chris Bryant. How did he do last year in the whatever spots that he was hitting? Let's see. Where is it? Batting order positions. So he batted second most of the time last year. Yeah, he was pretty good in the number 2 spot. Had a 343 on base. I think, yeah, this is a guy that he could really fit in well in that Phillies lineup. We got a super chat coming in. Chris Gal Jr., what moves do you think the Tigers should make? I think for the Tigers, I think you just got to kind of keep building, you know, like a little bit of something everywhere. You know, I think the big thing is probably the bullpen right now with Detroit. If we go to Detroit, looking at Detroit right now, you know, I like the lineup right now. I don't think you need to do anything crazy with this lineup. I think for now, I think it's fine. You know, you added Javier Baez, Torkelson. I think he's going to have an opening day job. Riley Green's going to come up eventually. I still think this lineup, I think it's fine for what it is right now. I think keep letting that pitching develop. see what it can turn into. If you're in contention at the trade deadline, could you maybe go out and go get a guy for this rotation? Sure. I don't think Eduardo Rodriguez is an ace by any means. I liked me some Erod, but I don't think he's an ace. I think for the bullpen, it's a little up in the air. I mean, you got some talented guys here. It's looking like Gregory Soto is probably he's going to be your closer. I think they announced that he's going to be the closer next year. But I worry a little bit about these walks. I don't like the walks. I mean, a 76-40 walk ratio, I don't like that for a closer. So I would be I would keep my eye on Soto a little bit. But I do like Fulmer out there. He did have, I think he had some time, I think he had a one DL or IL stint last year. Jose Cisnero, I think this is a pretty solid guy. Got Funkhauser. I think they could use a solid veteran guy. I think someone like Andrew Chafin would make a lot of sense, personally. I think he would be a nice veteran guy there. Someone like maybe like Ryan Tepera, I think could make some sense. But overall, I think just for the Tigers right now, I think just kind of wait and see, what your lineup turns into, see how your starting pitching develops, see if you maybe can get one more guy for the bullpen. I think that would make some sense. So that's what I'm thinking. What do we got here? What do we got? Let's see another question. Let's see. Looking for a question. Here we go. Ethan, what's going on? What do you think the Red Sox should try to do to fix their second base problem? Do you like Arroyo's potential? I do like Christian Arroyo, but when I look at Christian Arroyo personally, I look at a utility guy. I look at that kind of a guy for your infield off the bench. I think that's where he's going to be really the most valuable. He's going to give you a solid bat off the bench. That's a guy you can turn to if, if a guy needs a day off or whatever. Frank Ryan, what is going on? I think honestly, the guy that I would prefer, if you can get a second baseman, go get Trevor Story. I think he makes a lot of sense. Frank Ryan, $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Assuming Suzuki to the Sox is a done deal, who plays second base for the Sox next year? Please tell me Kike is the everyday center fielder and not JBJ with Kike at second base. Well, if you got Suzuki, most likely, I would imagine he would be your right fielder. Verdugo, to me, Verdugo is the guy out for left. But Verdugo can really play either of those positions, I think. If we take a look, Verdugo, I think he played in left the most. Yeah, he played 90 games out in left. He played 42 in center. And he played in 24 in right. So Verdugo, you can kind of stick him anywhere out there. I think personally, left field was where it seemed like he had the most success if we were to go to his advanced stats. He had 7 defensive runs saved out in left field. Center field, he had -7. And in right field, he had 1. So he's not a good center fielder. So to me, he's a corner outfielder at this point. He had a -2.2 UZR out in left, while out in right, he had a 0.9. So I think with Suzuki and Verdugo, those would be your corner guys. And then center field, Kike Hernandez would be there. And then what do you do with Jarren Duran? Pretty much Duran at that point. What spot would he have at that point? So you would have an outfield of Verdugo, Kike Hernandez out in center, and then Suzuki in one of the other corners. If you were to put Kike at second, that would fill the hole there. And then for the outfield, you could have Suzuki, Verdugo, and Duran. So I think to me, I think Kike, if he ends up being your second baseman and you get Suzuki, I'm not mad at that. To me, Kike, he can play anywhere. So that's what I like about him. So big fan of Kike. Overall, the regular season last year, hit 250, a 337 on base. But I like Kike Hernandez. But I think his flexibility is underrated. The fact that he can play in the outfield and in the infield, I think, is pretty overlooked by a lot of people. But if the Red Sox get Suzuki, I'd be happy with it. So let's take a look. Here we go. Blake, one more? Here we go. Local Rangers fan here. We had a ton of local news about a potential Olsen to Rangers trade before the lockout. Do you think it's Yankees or bust for an Olsen trade? I would not say that. I think the Yankees are a good fit for Matt Olsen. I'll be honest, I don't think the Yankees need to go get Matt Olsen. He makes a lot of sense for the Yankees. I'm telling you, I think for the Yankees, if you can go get him, go get him. I think if you can get him without having to give up Peraza, make that deal all day. I'm a big fan of Oswald Peraza. I think if you can hang on to Peraza, that could be your shortstop. Don't go after an Andrelton Simmons, or whoever else out there, and I don't know. I don't think you need to go get Correa. I don't think you need to, maybe Story on a cheap, like a 1-year deal. I think that's very possible with Trevor Story. If he signs like a 1-year deal, because he didn't do as good as he usually does last year. So could he end up taking a 1-year deal like Marcus Semien did this last year with the Blue Jays? I think that's very possible with Trevor Story. Could you do that if you're the Yankees? Possibly. But I think if you can give Oswald Peraza a chance, he's going to give you fielding, he's going to give you speed. But if you can go get Matt Olsen without having to give up Peraza, I think that would be awesome if you could do that. Now, I think there's a lot of other teams that make sense for Matt Olsen, and I think the Rangers could make some sense, honestly. If we take a look at the Rangers, they have a guy. If you wanted to go after this guy in Matt Olsen, I really think you have. Where are the Rangers here? Rangers, there we go. You got Nate Lowe that you could send back to the A's. He would make a lot of sense. Why is it doing this? That's not the one. I could have sworn I didn't click on that page. But yeah, you got Nate Lowe. Basically, Matt Olsen would just take his place. But then for the A's, you're getting a guy who gets on base, a pre-arbitration guy, and Nate Lowe. I think he'd be a good centerpiece going back to the A's in that trade. What else do you send back to make up the difference? Not quite sure. But I wouldn't give up, some of these top pitching prospects that you have in the Rangers system. I mean, obviously not Jack Leiter. But overall, Cole Winn, I think, is an underrated guy. I don't think Cole Winn gets enough love overall. I don't know, if you were to go to the simulator here, I've done a Rangers trade before with Olsen. I think the Rangers would be a really cool fit. But then again, I wouldn't be, totally against just hanging on to Nate Lowe as well. But I think for the Rangers, they need to focus on adding some pitching. But let's put together an Olsen trade for the A's. Here we go. Matt Olsen to the Rangers. And then to the A's, again, let's put Nate Lowe. Again, he makes up a lot of difference right there, about more than half of the difference. So now you just need around $20 million of value, or at least in that ballpark. So could you possibly, let's see, I think Foscue could be a guy that's expendable, because you just signed Semien and Seager. So where is Foscue? I would imagine with Foscue, if they keep him in their system, they'll probably try him out in the outfield. I mean, because at this point, you got Semien and Seager there for the next 5 years. So at least for the next few. Foscue would not be surprised if you see some time out in left field for him. I think that's very possible. Or maybe even third base. But they got Josh Jung there as well. So I wonder if that's going to be, I think Foscue out in the outfield for the Rangers could make some sense. But you could, or you can just involve him in this trade. Let's take a look. You did bring in a couple of middle infielders with the Yankees in the Joey Gallo trade. Could maybe you ship out one of these guys? Maybe Josh Smith. Smith here, 7.6. And you're right in the ballpark now. You're giving up a couple of middle infielders, a first baseman, and maybe you can part with one pitching prospect. Maybe, let's see. Who do they got here? Again, I wouldn't give up Cole Winn. Ricky Vanasco, I feel like, had a good year last year. Look at no, actually, he didn't even pitch last year. 2019, he did well in 11 games. But that was in high A ball. Maybe you part with Vanasco? What is even his value? 3.8. I mean, maybe this gets it done. Maybe you could swap out Smith with, if you didn't want another middle infielder, maybe you could part with maybe Carter instead. Evan Carter. They actually have him as an outfielder. I could see that. Why don't we do that? Take out. So, oh wait, what did I just do? Here we go. Hold on. Carter, A's, Smith. And then you might have something here. You got guys, Carter, he can play third and the outfield. Foscue, solid college player. Nate Lowe would be the centerpiece. And then, a guy in Vanasco. So I think there is a trade there with the Rangers. I think that absolutely could happen. So let's do a couple more here. Cohen Hackney. What's going on, my friend? Where do you think Kyle Schwarber will end up signing? There's a lot of fits. Wouldn't be surprised with a team like the Phillies. We were talking about Chris Bryant to the Phillies earlier. But I think Kyle Schwarber could make some sense for the Phillies. As a top of the order kind of a guy, he can play in the outfield. Also, if you're going to have the universal DH, that makes sense too. I think Schwarber would make a lot of sense for the Phillies. I think for the Rockies, it could make some sense. Obviously, that bat out there, absolutely. Let's take a look. What are some teams that could use some left field help? I think Schwarber at this point, he's really just a left fielder. But as you can see here, Adam Hazley, this is a guy, Schwarber, he can slide right in to left field out there. Could you see a team like the Padres maybe go get Kyle Schwarber? I think that could make some sense. Could he end up going back to the Nationals? He has a good relationship with the Nationals still. Again, the Rockies could make some sense. Could you? Probably not the Twins. I feel like they have a lot of young outfielders there, so I don't think so. Could you do the Rangers? Honestly, could Kyle Schwarber go to the Rangers? I think that's very possible. A team I would love for him to go to, I don't think you need to. I would love if he's an Ohio guy. I would love it if he went to Cleveland. I think that would be really cool. But Stephen Kwan is an underrated guy to keep an eye out for. So look out for him. Mr. Stephen Kwan. Keep an eye out. He's projected right now for a 1.2 wins above replacement. So keep an eye out for that. Stephen Kwan. I think the Diamondbacks could make some sense. I think a lot of possibilities open up for Kyle Schwarber because it's looking like you're going to have the universal DH. So could you do a team like the Blue Jays? Maybe to try and replace the bat a little bit with Marcus Semien. I don't think you need to do that. I think the Tigers could be fun. You got Akil Baddoo projected as your left fielder right now. I think the Marlins could be fun. I think the Marlins could be a fun team for Kyle Schwarber. That'd be a nice bat. That'd be really cool. There's a lot of places Kyle Schwarber can go. I think at this point he's not going to go back to the Red Sox. I just don't see it. But yeah, there's a lot of teams where he fits. There's a lot of teams where he fits. So, Pee Wee Pierre. Remember when JD Martinez was a Houston Astro? Oh my goodness. Let's pull up some JD Martinez stats. Man, JD Martinez was so good in 2018 when they brought him in. Ugh, so good. Look at the year JD Martinez had in 2018 with the Red Sox. He had 43 home runs, 130 RBIs, 330 batting average, a 402 on base. I feel like JD Martinez was really underrated that year. Looking back at that 2018 season. Well, he was really overshadowed by his own teammate, Mookie Betts. Crazy. So good. But look at the years that he had with Houston. With Houston, he averaged a 251 batting average, a 300 on base. With the Tigers, he was actually not bad with the Tigers. Actually, he was very good. Look at what he did with the Tigers. He had 38 home runs in 2015. And then he went to the Diamondbacks there in 2017. But yeah, JD Martinez, man. It wasn't really doing too much with the Astros. Then, yeah. He will never forget the Astros letting him go. What's going on? Sports Films, hello. With the talks of a possible Jose Ramirez trade, do you think he would be a fit for the Mariners after the loss of Kyle Seager? Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I think the Mariners could really use a good bat. I don't think Jose Ramirez ends up getting traded. I just don't. I think for the Guardians, they, first year with the new name, I just think from a business standpoint, you're not paying this guy really anything. He's on a 6-year, $36 million deal. This guy is one of the best bargains in baseball. I mean, there's no reason to trade this guy, I think. I mean, why? He makes your team better. He's cheap. He's got a team option for next year. I mean, for 2022 and 2023. Why would the Guardians want to trade him? I mean, I think people are just looking at the fact that his contract comes up soon. But for the Guardians, I mean, you don't need to trade him this year. Trade him next year. You know, I mean, I don't think they need to give him up. I think the Guardians are going to be a sneaky team in 2022. They don't just have a good team at the major league roster. Don't forget, they got Shane Bieber. You know, this is a guy, he's a top of the rotation kind of a guy. Obviously, he's your ace. He's one of the best pitchers in the game. He had some, stuff last year injury-wise, but Shane Bieber is a top-tier pitcher. The Guardians next year could be really good. I think a lot of people are overlooking that team. They had a good bullpen last year. Offense, yeah, they definitely could use a bat. But look out. They got some guys in the minor leagues. You got Tyler Freeman. Like we were looking at Stephen Kwan earlier. I mean, that guy could really emerge as an under-the-radar kind of a guy. Could end up being a pretty productive bat in that lineup. Tyler Freeman can come up and get some good at-bats. He's a good hitter. I think the Guardians could be really good. And with Jose Ramirez, I mean, he only makes your team better as your third baseman. He's one of the best players in the game. I mean, to me, I think for the Guardians, you already got a ton of prospects. You got the Guardians have one of the deepest farm systems in the game. I mean, you're going to get some prospects for Jose Ramirez, but I mean, at this point, it's like, I don't know. I think you hang on to Jose Ramirez. Sure, he would be a great fit with the Mariners. Could be a good fit with the Blue Jays, but I think honestly the best fit for Jose Ramirez is the Guardians. I think a lot of people need to start looking at it that way. Jack, what's going on? Can the Cardinals trade for any top pitcher on the market like Means, Manaea, Bassett without giving up any of their top prospects? I think for Bassett, Means, yeah, you would have to give up some top prospect. Bassett, I think you could get him. I think so. Let me go to the Cardinals right now. I think the Cardinals, that would serve them well to add some depth. I think personally. Could you see them go after a guy like you say Kikuchi, someone more on the cheap? They could use another lefty. You brought in Steven Matz, but Adam Wainwright's 40 years old, had a great season last year. How durable is he going to be next year? Jack Flaherty had some durability issues this past year. Steven Matz, if he stays healthy, he'll be solid for the most part. Good defense behind him should be nice. Dakota Hudson, he's just coming back. He'll have a full season this year. Michaelis, he came back last year for 9 starts. So how durable is this rotation going to be? I could see the Cardinals adding someone like a Yusei Kikuchi, kind of like how they got John Lester. They got John Lester and J.A. Happ at the trade deadline last year. They brought in these two guys to basically just give them starts. Yusei Kikuchi is a guy where, he could be your long reliever out there. Could be, back-end guy if someone goes down. But if you were to go, I don't think you need really to go after someone like John Means. He's going to cost you a lot. If you look at the Cardinals right now, they don't have a great farm system at the moment. At the top of this farm system, yeah, it's looking pretty good. Nolan Gorman, Matthew Liberatore, Jordan Walker. He was a really underrated draft prospect. I remember talking about Jordan Walker during that draft. I'm thinking this guy is going to be pretty good. And he's only 19 years old, and he's putting up good numbers. At 317, 14 homers, 48 RBIs. I would like to see him walk a little bit more, but on base of 388, that's really good. The Cardinals, you're not giving up Gorman. And don't forget, they have Liberatore too. I definitely think you could see Liberatore this year. And Walker, I don't think they're giving up any of these guys. Could you part with maybe one of these guys in the middle? Maybe. I could see something like that. I think a lot of teams right now, they're hanging on to their top prospects. So could you go get someone like Bassett? I think that could happen. Let me actually put together a trade. Here we go. Cardinals. Orioles. think John Means on the Cardinals would make some sense. Be a nice fit. Here we go. So we just did John Means earlier. 41. Or no, we're looking at Bassett. I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, John Means would be a nice fit with them. But let me do Bassett. Bassett. So as you can see, he has a value of $17 million. And then with the Cardinals, so I mean, if you're looking at these top 3 guys, they're off limits. Could you do someone like, you know, a Mason Wynn? Maybe. I think Mason Wynn, what is actually his value? Is a 6.6 value. I mean, this is he was a two-way player at one point, but it looks like he's going to be sticking to shortstop. So, do you hang on to him? Yeah, I think you definitely could hang on to him. He's a number 4 guy. If you're looking at outside the top 5, I mean, Zach Thompson. I feel like right now, do you want to be giving up pitching prospects? Could you do someone like Malcolm Nunez? I don't know. Nunez, and then let's say you did Thompson. I don't know. Those 2 guys, it's funny. That's kind of where the Cardinals system, it tends to run thin. Your number 8 guy only has around $3 million, $4 million in value, and your number 9 guy has $2 million in value. So you're really falling short here. So you might have to, you know, do something. Maybe you could do a major league guy. I mean, but again, it's the A's. They're probably not wanting to bring on a lot of salary at the moment. But who are some guys, you know, could you do? Let me go to payroll. Who are some pre-arb guys here that you could part with? So, yeah, I mean, you're not giving up Carlson or Sosa. Probably not Kisner. Probably not Genesis Cabrera. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't think the Cardinals might be a good fit when it comes to trades. I think right now, if you can go get free agents, I think that could make some sense. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it. I don't know. I think for prospects, if you're the Cardinals, you might have to part with someone like Mason Wynn. Try to put him in. I mean, you're getting close here. I don't know, though. I don't know. I just don't. Value-wise, it doesn't seem like it's really matching up all that much. You're probably not parting with Herrera. I mean, they just drafted McGreevy. Do you part with McGreevy? I mean, if you put in McGreevy, maybe take out Thompson. And maybe you got something here. I mean, you could even take out Nunez and then maybe McGreevy and Wynn for Bassett. I could see something like that. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it might be kind of hard for the Cardinals to make trades because they just don't have a lot of depth in this farm system. And you want to hang on to these top 3 guys. So, what is going on? Jorge, who is your favorite bad player? Who is your favorite bad player? All time or right now? All time, I'm going Mark Bellhorn all day. Or maybe Pokey Reese. Pokey Reese was really good at defense. Loved Pokey's glove out there. But Pokey could not really hit. I guess it depends on what you call a bad player. Pokey was definitely more there for his glove. Didn't really do anything with the bat. But his glove was awesome. So if you want to call him a bad player, I guess that could count. But I love me some good old Mark Bellhorn. Mark Bellhorn, Red Sox legend, man. I will always remember this picture of Mark Bellhorn because I believe that was his picture in MVP Baseball 2005. Ugh, good times. Good times. Look at Mark Bellhorn. 2005, he was so bad. But 2004, he was actually an all right second baseman. Look at Mark Bellhorn's on-base percentage in 2004. A 373 on base. That is crazy. He struck out 177 times. That led the American League, but he still walked a lot. He had 88 walks. He had 17 homers, 82 RBIs. I mean, come on. Mark Bellhorn came up big in the postseason. You know, home run in the World Series in Game 1. Game 6 home run against the Yankees. Mark Bellhorn might be my favorite bad player of all time. But he had a good year in 2004. So, was not very... Oh, when he went to the Yankees in 2005, it actually made me kind of sad. But right now, who would I say is like my favorite bad player right now? I don't even know. Let me pull up here some, who are the lowest F-WAR guys? Maybe Miguel Cabrera, actually. Could Miguel Cabrera count as a bad player? I mean, he's not really doing too much Fangraph war-wise. He's doing a little bit with the bat. Raimel Tapia is interesting because he has some speed, 20 stolen bases. He has a decent batting average, an okay on base. I mean, not a great slugging, but he's not really going to give you surprising because of his speed. He's not really giving you a lot of defense out there. So he's probably not doing very good routes. Jose, I don't know. Do you consider Jose Iglesias a bad player? I like Jose Iglesias. Charlie Blackmon. Is he? I mean, I feel like, still respectable. 270 average, 351 on base. Not a lot of power though. Slugging only at 411. I don't know. I mean, like I said, do you really count those guys as bad players? Who else we got? How about pitchers? Let's take a look at some of the worst pitchers last year. We're always talking about guys like Corbin Burns, Max Scherzer, but let's take a look at some of the worst pitchers out there. Patrick Corbin was really bad last year. He was awful. Dallas Keuchel was really bad last year. I mean, look how many innings these guys threw with how bad these numbers were. Hopefully Corbin can bounce back. I really want Corbin to start getting back on track because that would really help the Nationals. I mean, don't forget, these are also only qualified guys. Let me actually put 150 innings pitched. Does that actually expand it? No. Let's go to 100 innings pitched. All right, here we go. Oh, Mike Fultonevich. 2-12 last year. Man, this guy was pretty good not too long ago. Man. I think John Lester. I mean, I know he's retired now, but he wasn't very good last year, but I always loved John Lester. Ross Stripling, I'm kind of surprised. His numbers just aren't really all that great. I figured he would put up better numbers. But yeah, I don't know. There's a few guys. Overall, best bad player of all time. I don't know, does Mark Bellhorn count? I just like me some Mark Bellhorn. What can I say? Sports films, what is going on? What is the most realistic trade you would like to see happen after the lockout? I think Olsen. I think Olsen really, that's kind of I know that's kind of an easy one, but I just think he makes a lot of sense for a few teams. He makes sense for the Yankees. He makes sense for the Rangers. He makes sense for the Atlanta Braves if they don't bring back Freeman. There's a lot of good fits. He could even fit on the Marlins if they wanted to bring him in. So Matt Olson, I think, could really make some sense. I think Craig Kimbrell to the Phillies could make sense because he has that connection with Dave Dombrowski, and they could always use guys for the bullpen. I think Matt Olson's the guy. I think he's the guy. Castillo, I don't think the Reds need to trade him. I think it would be fun if there was a trade there, but I think for the Reds have a pretty good farm system, a pretty underrated farm system. So I don't think the Reds really need to be selling off a lot of guys right now. I mean, if you actually take a look at Baseball America, the Reds actually have a pretty decent ranking on Baseball America. I think it might be a little too high personally, but Baseball America, they're giving them the number 7 spot. So the Reds, you don't really, according to Baseball America, they got guys like Nick Lodolo, Hunter Green. I don't know. You don't need to be really shipping off guys like Luis Castillo right now. He's cheap. He makes your team better. In a wide open NL Central, the Reds could still compete. So I think personally, Matt Olson, that might be, that's an easy one, but whatever. I think that's the guy to me. I think he's the most realistic trade candidate. I think Chapman would make sense for a few teams. And then I'd like to see what the A's end up doing with Frankie Montas. Do they ship him out? I wonder. Chris Bassett, I think, is going to be pretty solid wherever he goes. But yeah, I would say Matt Olson personally. But everyone, I'm going to get out of here tonight. I got some stuff to go work on. I was recording a video earlier. I got to go edit that down, but I got to get some sleep soon. It's Friday tomorrow. I got one more day before the weekend. But everyone, thank you for coming out to tonight's show, just talking about the latest in the lockout, as well as coming out for the Q&A tonight. I appreciate all the super chats. Thank you so much. Really appreciate all of that. Enjoy all the questions. Everyone, thank you for stopping by tonight. Probably won't be going live tomorrow or Saturday. I usually like to take those 2 days off when it comes to going live. But look out for Sunday night. I could see myself going live Sunday night. But yeah, look out for that. Look out for any uploads over the next couple of days. But I'm going to get out of here, everyone. Have yourself a good night, and I'll talk to you next time.